Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle were all famous philosophers. In their time, people would gather simply to hear their ideas. Times have since changed, but philosophy is still a part of our lives. Philosopher and author Jack Weinstein can explain why we ask questions about philosophy. Thanks for coming on the show
today.
My
pleasure.
Well, okay, the big question, what is philosophy?
Well, literally the word means the love of wisdom, and so philosophers are people who seek knowledge and understanding. But what the discipline has become is an examination of the assumptions of other disciplines. So if you're a musician and you want to ask why are there 12 notes, you're doing philosophy. If you want to examine why one league has a designated hitter and another league doesn't, you're doing philosophy of sport. Knowing what the right thing to do is, that's philosophy of ethics. So philosophy is about asking the foundational questions that we don't usually ask.
So truly there is no stupid question when it comes to philosophy, right?
Any question that is genuinely felt is a good question, and any question that allows for further exploration is an outstanding question.
Okay. Well, philosophy, of course, is taught, at the collegiate level. And what would someone who is a philosophy major do for a living?
Well, philosophy majors often go into law school. The major has the highest scores in the LSAT, of any other major. But we do a whole range of things, from working in editing to medicine. I've had majors in the Air Force. I have a tank commander.
Well, how does philosophy tie into those different things?
Well, the key to philosophy is to break down its component parts. Philosophers are very good at critical thinking. Employers need that. Philosophers are very good at seeing the perspective of other people. Employers love that. Philosophers are very good at writing or explaining abstract ideas. So anything that requires communication or critical thinking is an outstanding outlet for philosophy.
Why is it important for people to explore philosophical areas?
Well, because philosophy isn't just about getting a job. It's about exploring our humanity. The human experience is tremendously rich, and as we get older and we encounter art and music and other people, as we have kids, we want to not only make the right decisions, but we want to have a most fulfilling life. And philosophy is the discipline that is the most centered on exploring not only what is, but what ought to be.
Okay, and you talked about as you get older, you're experiencing different things and kind of learning about these different things. What about things that are happening now that may change our philosophical views?
Things change all the time, and you learn new things. I took 7 students on a 3-week trip to Vienna, Austria, and most of them were North Dakotans, and it changed their lives in a wonderful way. Any excuse to examine yourself, to examine society, can create a tremendous change. Does a person's worldview ever change? I don't know. Certainly, political opinions change, religious opinions change, ethical opinions change. But in the end, one of the great questions of philosophy is what is the unity of the self? Why is Jack, when he was 1-year-old, the same as Jack when he's 80-year-old? And that's about worldviews and what changes in us and what doesn't.
So you're saying that there are some core values that people will just hold on to, and their philosophy will hold on to them very tightly right through.
I think there are often core values. I don't like to say always. Mm-hmm. There are often times when you let go of a core value and then come back to it. I know that lots of people in their 20s and 30s, or let's say late teens and 20s, stop going to religious services, but when they have kids, they start going back. So as you again get older, you've experimented with these different things, and then you find out when you're raising your own kid or running for political office, you discover not only who you are, but who you've been that whole time.
Okay. What about politics and philosophy? How are they related?
Oh, politics is philosophy. Not just the controversial questions such as where do you stand on abortion or where do you stand on gay marriage, but is democracy a viable governing structure? Should everyone have a say? Should only some people have a say? What about representative democracy versus a direct democracy? How do we distribute money? How do we publicly fund schools? Every question has at its core a philosophical perspective.
Mm-hmm. And they're delving into the whole healthcare issue, and that's bringing up a whole lot of different...
Our radio show had a guest this couple weeks ago asking very much the questions on the legality and the morality and the constitutionality of universal healthcare.
Sure. And you mentioned your radio show. What are the topics that you delve into on the radio show?
We try to do the whole range of things. So we've had philosophy of sport, we've had philosophy of hunting, we've also had justice in the mentally disabled, we've had the purpose purpose of philosophy. Coming up this week, actually, we have Nobel Prize-winning economist Amartya Sen talking about justice and welfare and economics. And so, again, just like music and sport can be philosophical, it can be on our show.
Okay, and you're obviously very interested in spreading the news about philosophy. Why do you want the public to know about philosophy?
You know, if I were to play a game of basketball, even if I played badly just in a schoolyard, it would still be called basketball. If I were to play guitar, even if I was doing it badly, it'd still be playing music. People do philosophy every day in their lives. And I want them to know they're doing philosophy because I want to be a part of a huge conversation, not just in the university, not just in North Dakota, but around the world. And I believe that the more philosophy we do, the better of a democracy we can have, the better people we are. Philosophy is about, again, cultivating that human experience.
All right. Very interesting, and certainly something that might be interesting to come and listen on your show as well.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you very much.